Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 6 of What If Naruto Was a Prodigy from the Senju, Uchiha, and Uzumaki clan. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends on your social media platform, and also guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the brand new episodes over the other channels if you're new. Yes, I indeed have 4 which I post What If on every single day for you guys to enjoy, so go ahead and smash that red subscribe button and become a part of the Making family. And thank you for all of your help and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking back to all of you. And also guys, don't forget to go ahead and click that red subscribe button to see exactly when I post, because I do post a lot. So without further ado or wasting more time, what do you say we jump right into this brand new episode? Begin now guys. So, the last spot we left off, both Naruto and Jiraiya made their way searching for Tsunade, as Jiraiya took Naruto's money, saying that it was a training of discipline, giving him some money for himself so that he could spend it and not go overboard, as Naruto went to enjoy the festival, as he decided to let himself just unwind and relax for the moment, and it was feeling good, as he walked around enjoying the location and the festivities. It did not take too long before he found himself in a quiet location, as he simply lay down glancing up at the heavens. This was something that he rather liked to do. It was always peaceful and nice, just relaxing by himself like this. Yes, it was always nice, as he simply calmly stayed there, until he decided to head back, as he bought 2 ice creams, one for himself and one for the perfect sage. However, when Naruto arrived, Naruto found Jiraiya inside of a place with several girls, and Jiraiya had spent all of his money. Naruto lost it in rage as he attacked the perfect sage. However, in doing so, he bumped into someone, staining the man's clothing with his ice cream. The man was said to be a chunin from the Hidden Stone, who had left some time ago. His friend was really hyping him up, as Jiraiya decided that this would be the best time to show Naruto what he planned to teach him, as he proceeded to sink a sharingan that was not fully made into the man's stomach, blasting him away. As Naruto was surprised by the technique, as Jiraiya started to teach him on learning it. It didn't take long for them to find Tsunade, but before Naruto could fully introduce himself, Jiraiya interrupted and told him that he had a long day, he should probably go and get some rest. Naruto had burned his arm while working on the Rasengan, as Jiraiya had saw that the kid had shown phenomenal growth, able to learn the first 2 stages in one day, as that was just shocking, seeing that it took him 6 months. Yes, the kid was something else. As he told him not to beat himself up, they found Tsunade as Shizune was able to heal Naruto's hand. So with that, they proceed to make their way, as Tsunade and Jiraiya sat down. Upon hearing him out, she wanted to punch him, because he must be lying to her, but he promised that he was not, as she couldn't believe it. And Anbu had told her that the whole family had perished, including their unborn child, as Kushina had been gone. She had been so distraught she did not even come back. She ran away from the village, but now she found out that he was alive this entire time, as she felt so bad that she wasn't there for him or even visit him once. She did not even know that he was alive. She felt horrible. Yes, she was angry at herself for not figuring out that Anbu lied to her. So with that, she phoned Naruto next morning training. Shizune had told him to take it easy, but yet he went back to it, and he was already mastering the Rasengan. As she sat down with him after he almost blew himself apart with the Rasengan by releasing too much chakra. As they got to talk, she apologized as Naruto listened her out. They got close. A couple of weeks passed as they became really close. She was his family after all. She told him that she would come to Konoha to visit. Tsunade had a lot to do. Her mind was now thinking about returning back to the village, but she would do it for Naruto, as she promised that she would come to visit him. So with that, him and Jiraiya head back, as Naruto felt a whole lot happier. A month passed as Naruto was now at the village when their sensei arrived and gave them the notes for the Chunin exams that was being held in Konoha this year. The group quickly accepted. The next morning they made their way, arriving towards said exam, as they saw Hayate and the others. Hayate asked Uchiha out, asking her if she wanted to do something after this, and she accepted. Naruto didn't know why, but he felt kind of strange at hearing that. However, he pushed those feelings down. The second test came as they made their way throughout the forest, as Naruto came up with an ingenious idea on how to get their scroll. Naruto was able to scare a team in not attacking by just using certain words, as the members got so frightened that it was easy for them to take them out, and they got their scroll. So it was time for them to get the hell out of there. So yeah guys, basically as we left off, you guys can switch across the place, check out for yourself, and also guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the other what ifs of the other channels. Yes, I indeed have 4 which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. Anime King, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, Anime Prince guys, so go ahead, check them out and yeah, enjoy. So without further ado or wasting more time, what do you say we jump right into this? Begin now guys. After running non-stop 4 hours, Team 12 finally arrived towards the tower in the center of the forest. After they had gotten their scroll, they had not run into any other team. Once they arrived at the tower, they noticed it was empty, and there was no other teams to be seen. As they looked around trying to find someone to guide them from there, seeing that they did not know what to do, as they finally just stood in the entrance room looking around. As Hana looked from left to right. "What do we have to do now?" she asked. "What does this mean?" said Uchiha, as she noticed writing on the wall. She walked forward as she started to read out loud for the other two. "If you do not possess heaven, gain knowledge and be prepared. If you do not possess earth, run through the fields and seek strength. If you open both heaven and earth scroll, dangerous path turn into safe ones. This is a secret. It shall lead you on your way." "It's clearly referring to the scroll," said Naruto, as he looked at both scrolls in his hand. "It's telling us to open the heaven and earth scroll." Hana and Uchiha looked towards him. "You sure about it?" they asked. "We just have to find out by opening one scroll," Naruto stated as Hana took a scroll from his hand. As they both opened them at the same time, there was a strange pattern drawn inside as Naruto's eyes widened. "It's a summoning seal," he said, as he threw it forward, Hana doing the same. And suddenly a poof appeared in front of them. When it disappeared, a tiger masked anbu appeared in front of them. The members of Team 12 looked at him in confusion as they asked, "Who are you?" "I am here to welcome you all on completing the second round of the Chunin exam. Also, I was given the duty to pass the three of you a message." As he pulled out a watch from his pocket and looked at it, a look of shock came on his face, however they could not see because of the mask. Time elapsed in the second round. 5 hours, 25 minutes. This is a new record for the exam held in Training Ground 44. This is most impressive, taking in consideration that your team is one of the youngest in this exam. So congratulations on your achievement, the anbu said. A little smirk appeared on Naruto's face as Hana and Uchiha both grinned as they gave high five to one another as they shouted, "We did it! We're the best!" The anbu nodded. "So your team has completed both first and second exam. So your team is allowed to enter the third exam, which will be told to you later after this round come to an end. Since your team completed this in a few hours, you will have to wait for the next 5 days in the tower. Also, your Jonin sensei will be notified about you, so he will be here soon. You can go and rest now, and you're not allowed to leave this tower. I will take my leave now." And with that, the anbu vanished from his spot. The next morning, Hokage's office. It was late in the morning. The second round of the exam was still in progress. A lot of foreign shinobis and people could be seen throughout the village, as Hiruzen stood near the window within his office. He was alone in the office at the moment. He had a lot of work to do, but he was quite concerned about Naruto, the youngest contestant in the exam. His team was not very experienced, and Hiruzen was wondering if it was a good idea to allow him to participate in the exam. He got out of his thoughts when he heard the door opening as he turned. to see Danzo Shimura enter his office. Hiruzen Danzo address. As he stood in front of the decks. Danzo, what can I do for you? Hiruzen said as he sat down. I got news that Naruto Uzumaki had successfully completed the second exam and reached the tower yesterday. Hiruzen's eyes narrowed as he looked towards the man. And where did you get that news about Naruto? I got that information from the exam proctor. I am keeping a close look on the Uzumaki progress in this exam. Danzo said calmly. And here I thought that you would have never have wasted your time on the exam. Hiruzen said. However, he was relieved to hear that Naruto had completed the second stage. Apparently, this year's exam got quite interested because of Naruto Uzumaki. He has broken all the previous records this year. He completed the second exam in 5 hours, 25 minutes, breaking the last record of Minato Namikaze. Also, he scored the second highest score in the written exam of all time, only behind Minato, who hold the highest score of all time, Danzo informed Hiruzen, as the man sounded excited before he composed himself. I know, he is very strong and talented, but to achieve this feat is quite impressive. Hiruzen spoke with pride in his voice and a smile on his face about Naruto. His worry quickly washed away after hearing that. Naruto is a shinobi of this village, and he can take care of himself, Hiruzen thought. He has proven this time and time again. It is also good for this village reputation that he is competing in this exam, Danzo said. Hiruzen said, looking towards him. You know that the Chunin exams is a place where the officials of all countries come together in the same room. Which is to say, it's an opportunity to display the fighting potential of each land. When Naruto fight in the third round and demonstrate his abilities there, it will enhance the threat our village pose against the other countries. Naruto is indeed a gifted ninja, but he is still inexperienced. There is a lot of older and more experienced participants in this exam, Hiruzen said. Of course, he knew all about the true motives of Chunin exams. Also, there is still stress between the nations. It's not that long ago that the Third Great Shinobi War came to an end. So this year there will be no other Kage attending the exam, other than some of their officials and daimyos. Danzo nodded at that. Indeed, that is true, and that is more than a reason to show that Konoha is still producing prodigies like Naruto Uzumaki. His performance will be really good for the village reputation. There is a lot of talk already about him amongst the villagers, seeing that he is the youngest in this exam. Hiruzen nodded as he wondered if it was good for Naruto to get this much attention on him. If he continued to gain more attention on him, there would be a possibility that secrets about his heritage could be leaked, and then he would have forces after him. As Danzo asks, interrupting his thoughts, so when is the third round taking place? I am looking forward to seeing Naruto Uzumaki in action this time. As Hiruzen focused his gaze on the man, you are showing quite the interest in Naruto. This was also a matter of concern for him that Danzo was showing so much interest in Naruto as well. He had no idea of Danzo's true intentions, but he was aware that Danzo had ulterior motives. But even someone like Hiruzen would not know what those motives are. But he would not let him use Naruto as he wanted. That was for certain. Well, as I told you before, we're not having Kages of any other village. Only officials and daimyos will arrive in a couple of days. So we will start the third round in 3 days' time, after the second exam, Hiruzen said, as Danzo nodded in return. Time skip. After the 5 days, the second exam came to an end. The teams that had passed were standing inside of a gigantic platform with a Hokage in front of them and Jonins at his side. Not many teams were able to pass the exam. Only 12 teams had reached the tower successfully, with both scrolls in their possession. However, only 4 teams were given permission to pass through and continue, seeing that the rest had not passed the first round. As Naruto was standing in a line with his teammates beside him, as he looked up towards the Jonins and the Anbus, the Jonin senseis were all there, with the Hokage in the middle. There were only 2 teams from Konoha. One of them were Team 12, his team, and the other one was Team Hayate with Izumo and Kadetsu. The other 2 teams was a team from Kumo, and the other one was from Taki. As Naruto noticed that him and his teammates were getting a lot of attention from other teams, and the present Jonins and the Chunins as well. They were paying close attention to his teammates, especially him. The news that Minato no Mikaze's record had been shattered by Team 12 had spread really quickly. And given the fact that Naruto was the youngest in the Chunin exams and he was a part of said team. However, as they looked up towards their sensei Shikaku, they saw pride in his eyes as he looked towards them. The proctor from earlier stepped forward and spoke. Congratulations on passing the second round, everyone. But before we can move on to the third round, Hokage-sama would like to say something to you all. Listen well, he said as he stepped back. As Hiruzen stepped up, clearing his throat. You all have my congratulations on passing through the forest of death. But before the explanation of the third round, there is one thing I want to make clear to all of you. It's about the true purpose of this exam. We do joint exam with other nations to maintain good relationship with the other nations and heighten the level of ninjas. Do not let those reasons deceive you though. This exam, so to speak, is the epitome of a war between the nations. If we go back through history, all the neighboring countries have fought each other again and again. To avoid wasting military power, all the nations chose a place to fight. That is the beginning of the Chunin selection exam. This exam does examine those who are worthy of Chunin rank. But on the other hand, it's also a place where ninjas fight and carry their country dignity. In this third exam, feudal lords and famous people from various countries who may be potential clients will be here as guests, and feudal lords from countries with hidden villages and high village officials will see your battle. If there is a significant difference in power, the strong country will be flooded with jobs and weak country jobs will decrease. One of the Kumo Genin spoke up. Why do we have to fight with the risk of losing our life? Before the Hokage could speak, Naruto spoke up. A country power is a village power. A village power is a ninja power. And a ninja true power is only born in a life and death battle. This platform is a place to show off the ninja power of one country. Right, Hokage-sama, said Naruto. Hiruzen closed his eyes as he nodded in agreement. Yes. This is a life or death battle for your dreams and your village dignity. I wish you all the very best and hope that you will all perform at the best of your abilities. As he signaled to the proctor to inform him about the third round. The Jonin stepped forward and spoke. The third round will take place 2 days from now in the main arena of the village. You all will proceed as individuals from here. The third round will be one-on-one fights. So if any of you want to forfeit from the exam, this will be the time to do so. It will not affect your team. 2 hands raised from Taki. We got injured in the forest and we won't be able to fight, so we would like to step down. The proctor looked around for anyone else, as he nodded when no one else said anything. Alright, the remaining 10 of you will proceed in the third round 2 days away from now. Get as much rest as you can these 2 days. We will see each other in the stadium. The lineup for your fights will be decided there. That's all, he said. Time skip. The Hidden Leaf was buzzing with activity. Even though it was early in the morning, there was a lot of people that could be seen walking and chatting through the streets. And they weren't only locals. Quite a few from other villages could be seen amongst them. Today was the day for the finals where Chunin hopefuls will showcase their talent to see if they can get promoted to the Chunin rank. Because of that, a lot of people such as clients, daimyos of various nations, and village officials were here to see the performance, so they could get future business or see the future threats. A single figure stood on top of the Hokage monument looking down. It was Naruto fully geared up. High collar, black long sleeve shirts, the Uzumaki crest symbol on the back, grey pants, and black ninja sandals. It was a very important day, one that he'll remember for all of his life. It was finally time for him to rise up in the ranks and face more challenging situations. He was really getting tired of doing those tours that they called missions. But he knew if he was gonna get promoted, he had to show the higher ups he had the ability and the mindset to reach the rank of Chunin. But he was not worried. He had full confidence in himself that he would be promoted. But that was not the only goal that he had in mind. He wanted to dominate this tournament and win it. He wanted people to remember his name. He wanted to leave a mark at the end of this exam. But he knew that it would not be easy though. Because of his age, a lot of people think that he should not continue in the exam. But he knew that it was not the first time a genin around his age was participating in the exam. He did not pay much attention to that though. He knew that Gigi would handle those things. The only thing that mattered to him was his village, and he wanted to see his village on top of these exams. That is the reason why he wanted to dominate. He had been training alone with his sensei, and he had done everything so he would be 100% ready for the finals. He hadn't even seen his other two teammates. They were busy in their own training with their families. Though he wondered if he should call them his teammates now, seeing that the both of them were going to be his opponents in the finals. As he turned to see Sensei walking towards him. "Sensei, what are you doing here?" he said. "I thought you would be busy with the other clan heads." Shikaku smiled a bit, but he still maintained that lazy look on his face as he shrugged. "There is still some time left for the finals to start, so I decided to check on my students." "So you already met Hana and Yujiro," said Naruto. "I haven't made any contact with them in the last 3 days." "Both troublesome women look quite eager to fight in the finals," Shikaku added as Naruto chuckled at that. "So, are you ready for it?" Shikaku asked, as Naruto nodded his head. "Yes, I'm ready. I have full confidence in myself. Though the only opponents I'm worried about are Hana and Yujiro." As Shikaku nodded in understanding. "That's understandable. They're the only ones knowing about you using your sharingan and fooling your opponents with genjutsu. But Naruto, do not get too overconfident and underestimate other genins. Also, I advise you not to rely on your sharingan too much. You have to show off your other skills for the judges to promote you." "I know that, Sensei, and I'm not underestimating anyone. I have worked on my other skills besides the sharingan." As Naruto smiled, "I'm only using it as a last resort, so don't worry about me getting overconfident." "Good to hear," said Shikaku, as he patted Naruto on the head. As Naruto gave him an annoyed look. Naruto hated when people treat him like a kid, and Shikaku knew that, as the man simply smiled down towards the boy. "Well, good luck for the finals, brat," he said. "I have to get going now. I have to be with the other clan heads." Naruto nodded. "Thank you for training me, Sensei," he said. "I'll make you proud of me." As Shikaku simply waved him off. "Don't mention it. It's my job." "See you at the stadium," he said as he walked away, waving goodbye over his shoulder. Time skip. Stadium. All of them had gathered as they were talking amongst themselves as they waited for the finals to start. Naruto knew that each one of them had trained hard for this moment, and they were here to represent their respective villages. As Naruto stood with his arms folded, a blank look on his face as Hana and Yujiro stood by his side. As he looked around the stadium, he was impressed by the amount of people that were gathered today. A curving wall swept around all of them. The ground were dirted and trees grew out every now and then all over the place. The massive amount of spectators were waiting for the matches to begin. There were daimyos and people from the ruling classes in all lands, officials from other villages, and ninja villages, chunins, jonins. There were no empty seats. Some were making bets on participating genins. There was a buzz of excitement that was hanging in the air. Which village will stand with the responsibility for the future ninja world on its shoulders? This place where capable genins risked their life in battle was a microcosm of the battlefield. The fights here were directly connected to the power struggle and structure of the other nations combined, which was exactly why Naruto had to show off his true power. Naruto wanted to demonstrate such overwhelming strength that the adults there never had the thought of laying a hand on Konoha. He had no intention on going easy on anyone, even if it was his own teammates. He was gonna give this everything he had. "You better be ready, Naruto-kun," Yujiro said, gaining his attention. As Naruto looked towards her and raised a single eyebrow in confusion. "What do you mean?" he said. She faced him hard with a serious look. "I have trained hard for this, and I don't plan on losing to anyone, especially not you. Your cheap, dirty tricks will not work on me, so you better be ready for me," she said. As Naruto smiled at her, he was not surprised by her attitude. He knew how serious and determined she was with her training, And that's one of the things that he liked about her. She wasn't like the other girls that he see within the academy, as he'd always secretly admired her, and he was kind of jealous of her. Her sword abilities were far better than his, and he knew that he could not match her in that department. And with the both of them knowing so much about him, it will be hard to battle against them. However, he was still confident in his own strength. I am not just here to fight, I'm here to win. So don't expect me to go easy on anyone. I don't expect you to go easy on me, she said with a smirk. Hey, I hope you two idiots did not forget about me. I am also waiting to fight the both of you, Hana spoke up. Her companions barked in agreement. Tuh, I'll kick your ass anytime, Hana, said Uchiha. And who knows, maybe I'll end up winning this entire tournament. As Naruto proceeded to yawn, listening to her, making her eye twitch, an annoyed look came across her face. Keep dreaming, he said, you idiot. What's taking them so long, Hana called out. Why hasn't the matches begin yet? The Hokage has yet to arrive. Everyone's waiting for him, I guess, Naruto pointed out, as he looked where the Hokage was going to be sitting. Wow, your observation skills always amaze me, Naruto continued Uchiha, with sarcasm in her tone. As Naruto sighed a little, he had gotten used to her by now and he knew that she would never miss an opportunity to pull his leg. So he just responded with his own sarcasm. Why thank you, I didn't know that you think so highly of me, said Naruto. Hana chuckled at his answer as Uchiha started to curse him under her breath. Stupid Naruto, stupid blonde. Before they could say anything else, they were interrupted by the arriving Jonin. It was Aoba, the same Jonin for the second round. Welcome to the finals of the Chunin exam. I think you already know me from before, so there's no need for any introduction. I'll be the proctor for the finals. Hokage-sama is going to start the proceedings, so please be quiet. Just as he finished, all the spectators started to cheer, and Naruto noticed the third Hokage standing on the balcony. He raised a hand up, commanding the crowd to settle down. Immediately, the crowd went silent as he cleared his throat a bit before speaking up. Welcome everyone to the finals of Chunin exams. Loud cheers went through the entire stadium. We will now begin the main matches with the 12th Jonin that has come this far. Please enjoy the matches and I wish all the contestants the very best. The crowd continued to cheer loudly after the welcome speech, as Naruto could feel the anticipation in the air. As Aoba started to speak, before we begin, you need to check out who you're going up against. You're each going to participate as an individual. He pointed towards the display screen. The pair-ups will be shown on the screen for the first round. All the contestants looked toward the screen before turning towards their opponents. The first match was going to be Naruto Uzumaki against a Genin from Kumo. Naruto looked at the boy. He was from Kumo, and he seemed to be around 5 years older than him. If Naruto remembered correctly, they were talking about this boy. He was one of their favorites in this tournament. But to Naruto, he looked rather average. However, he knew that he should not be cocky and underestimate his opponents. As Aoba called out once again. Alright, the first match will be between Naruto Uzumaki and Yaru of the Hidden Cloud Village. The rest of you need to go back to the waiting room. As both Genin stepped forward and the refs started to move. As both Hana and Uchiha wished Naruto good luck. Now only Naruto, Yaru and the referee was standing there. Yaru stood a bit lazily, as he did not look interested at all, as Naruto looked towards him. Before starting the fight, Aoba spoke up once again. There is absolutely no rules on how to fight. The contest continued until one submit to defeat. However, when I judge that continuation to be impossible, I will stop the match there. Do you both understand? They both nodded. Up in the stands, as the Hokage sat down, he was showing a professional look, but on the inside he was excited to see Naruto show off some skills. To his side, his advisors were sitting with his former teammates and some of the clan heads, such as Hyuga, Inuzaka, Nara, Akimichi, Aburame, and Yamanaka. Everyone was here to see the potential of the young shinobi. I am very excited to see what your student can do, Shikaku. I've heard quite a bit about him, Inuichi said. Before Shikaku could respond, Danzo spoke up. I am also looking forward to see what he can do. He has been excellent throughout the tournament so far. Everyone is looking forward to see him in action, Hiruzen said. Since the news of him and his team breaking the record off Minato no Mikaze, They've been at the center of attention, especially Naruto. As he looked down to see Aoba explain the rules to the two genins there. It will not be easy here for him. Homura spoke up. His opponent, Yasharu, is considered to be quite strong within his village. Also, the boy is much more experienced than Naruto, as some of the others in the room nodded. I can assure you all that my student can handle himself very well, Shikaku said in a confident tone. Some often underestimate him because of his age, and he takes advantage of that. Well then, it will be good to see what the Prodigy of the Hidden Leaf can do up against the Prodigy of the Hidden Cloud. Danzo spoke with a barely visible smirk, plastered all over his face. This match was what he came to see. Show me what you can do, Naruto Uzumaki, he thought. However, he failed to notice a look from Shikaku, who was keeping a close eye on him. Back down below, both boys stood facing one another as the crowd was standing there with anticipation, ready for the match to begin. By this time, Yasharu had yawned a couple of times as Naruto wondered if he might fall asleep on the spot. Maybe we should have them push our turn back, so that you can get a proper sleep, Naruto said to him. Yasharu looked at him. His eyelids were hanging halfway down. No need to worry, he said, smiling to Naruto, but even his smiling looked sleepy. As Naruto couldn't do anything but nod at him, as he wondered if his opponent was doing it on purpose though. If he wasn't though, it seems like the boy was not taking him seriously, not in the slightest. The first round. Third exam. Naruto Uzumaki of Konoha versus Yasharu of Kumo. Begin, the proctor said. Yasharu opened his mouth in a great yawn as the match was started, as people started to laugh up in the stadium. As Naruto frowned, Yasharu was insulting him with his behavior. Getting into position, Naruto leaned forward as he braced his feet. No weapons in his hand, as he relaxed his body and remained calm. He was ready to react immediately, no matter what his opponent did. I'm so sleepy, Yasharu said, as he stood up straight, his arms dangling at his side, as he started to wobble from side to side. If you're not gonna fight, then maybe you should give up, said Naruto. As Yasharu closed his eyes, not answering Naruto as he started to fall forward. However, before he could hit the ground, he was gone. Naruto's eyes widened in surprise as he took a sharp breath. There had been no movement in his opponent. His action was too sudden. He hadn't seemed to be shifting his weight to either side. He then heard a snort from behind him. Thunder. Naruto immediately rolled away from the assault as Yasharu's right hand had punched forward, like it had been broken down into a bolt of electricity and shoot with blinding speed. As Naruto had heard the crackle. So, he has lightning affinity, to be expected seeing that he's from Kumo. As Naruto got some distance away from him, he was cursing himself for losing concentration. It would have been over if the guy had hit him in the head with that arm. However, as he turned to face Yasharu, he was still sleeping, while pretending to be at least on his feet. There is no way that he can fight while sleeping, Naruto thought. The only way to find out what is going on, how he was able to move like that, was to attack him. Pulling a kunai out, Naruto threw it towards the face of Yasharu. As Yasharu rocked from side to side, his body leaned over and dodged a kunai in one of his rocks. He has to be awake, Naruto thought, but the boy's eyes remained closed, making Naruto's sharingan useless. Even if Yasharu's eyes were open though, Naruto did not want to show too much in his first fight, or waste too much of his chakra. He was planning on winning this entire thing after all. As Yasharu started to sway once again, and bam, he was gone. Naruto shot up in the sky, dodging the brutal lightning-enhanced fist that Yasharu sent, swinging towards his face. As Naruto landed back near the wall to put some space between them, as Naruto still had no idea what was this sleeping jutsu, but he had to unravel it. The movements, they made no sense, as he stared at Yasharu, wobbling to left and right, off in distance. As Naruto assumed that he was using an ability that brought out his full physical limits, maybe surpassing them, when he was in a state of calm, a state of sleep. By sleeping, his instincts took over. Naruto calmed himself as Yasharu twitched. He felt him coming. Vision, hearing, sense, all of his senses was in full gear. He could feel Yasharu with everything that he had. He felt his aura, from the wall to his right. Lightning. He dodged, as Naruto skidded back a few feet. So, I am physically superior. Naruto was faster. A sleepy technique just caught him off guard a moment ago. But now he understands this. Remaining calm, Naruto evaded all the punches as he stepped back, leaning away as Yasharu lashed out. Brutal lightning in hands, punches and kicks. As Naruto had a flash of insight, why did his enemy focus on a technique that relies on sleeping? As Naruto imagined what he thought about while he was sleeping, if he was sealing away himself to increase his physical abilities, then it was possible that he lost his memories as well. If that was true, then Yasharu did not remember the self who fought. So all he had to do was wake him up. But why would he need a technique like that though? He wondered if Yasharu was a coward, if the boy escaped into sleep so that he would not be hurt. If Yasharu was a coward, maybe he was afraid of the endless sleep, the one that he could never wake up from. The back and forth of Yasharu attacking and Naruto dodging went for a full 10 minutes. Just when people were about to complain of the lack of depth in this battle, it happened. Yasharu would stop as he slowly lifted his eyelids. Their eyes met. This was the moment Naruto was waiting for as he poured his chakra into his eyes. The sharingan was activated, but it was still hidden from the world. It took less than 100th of a second to activate, and Naruto was betting on that. He hammered into Yasharu's pupils the detail that he was casting in his mind and sent it off to him. Yasharu shrieked, awake for a moment. He then went back to sleep. As Naruto appeared behind Yasharu and slit his throat, it was the image that Naruto conjured up in his mind. And Yasharu saw it. He was dead. His throat slit. He opened his eyes. He could no longer sleep soundly anymore. With his eyes open, he tried to fight, but his attacks were sloppy. As Naruto dodged as Yasharu jumped back, he tried to return back to the sleepy state. But the moment he closed his eyes, he saw Naruto gouged Nakuna right into his heart. Each time he was killed, the sleeping time frame gets shorter and shorter. Stab, burn, poison. He was being slaughtered over and over in every way possible by Naruto. He couldn't close his eyes anymore. He started to breathe heavy as he started to hyperventilate. If he closed his eyes, he would die. Something he was afraid of. Sweat streamed down his face as he tried to attack. As he couldn't even close his eyes, he started to cry. Help me! He groaned out to the spectators as he fell to his knees. I don't want to die. I don't want to die anymore. Please help me, he begged, dropping to his knees as he curled up into a ball and cried. We have a winner, the proctor announced. Naruto Uzumaki from Konoha. The entire place was silent for a moment. Everyone seemed to be confused as Yasharu cried out, I don't want to die, as he was carried out. The terror in his voice sent shivers up the people's spine. He would probably give up on being a ninja now, Naruto thought. That was a level of fear that was put into him. The venue was now a bit different. Naruto, all by himself, had produced an aura that reeked of death. He wasn't sure if many of them realized he was using genjutsu on his opponent, but it did not really matter, did it? Naruto had demonstrated immense power that they could not even understand, and now they knew his strength. We must not make an enemy of this boy. As Naruto kinda felt bad for Yasharu though. After it was over, he realized he might have gone a bit too far. But he had to win without showing any of his other abilities, and that was the only way that he could win quickly without going too far. As Naruto walked towards the waiting area, in the silence he heard someone clapping. As Naruto lifted his head and turned toward the sound, a face, covered by bandages at the right side. Danzo Shimura. Up in the stands, I must say. I'm impressed with your student, Shikaku. Hayashi Hyuga, head of the Hyuga clan, said. Troublesome. Hayashi said. The brat went a bit overboard. As Hiruzen nodded. His face looked troubled. He fought well, but he shouldn't have done what he did to that boy. Don't be foolish, Hiruzen, Danzo said. He performed extraordinary, and he put fear in the enemy's mind. Even on the defense, he was far above the enemy. He has my vote for the promotion. I agree with Danzo. He used great tactics against his enemy, in which Yamanaka spoke up. But how was he able to cast a genjutsu on his opponent? Homura said. I didn't even see him use any hand signs for the genjutsu. They looked at Shikaku for an explanation, who shrugged. I don't think I should tell my student tricks to anyone else, he responded. We will have more chances to see him fight again, but for now we will look forward to the next match. Hiruzen said as he glanced over to where Naruto was going. Meanwhile, the waiting area. When Naruto walked in, all the members in there except for his teammates looked at him uncomfortably. As he walked and stood beside his teammates. Don't you think you went a bit overboard there? Hana asked, folding her arms. I know, said Naruto, leaning against the railing, but I couldn't think of any other way to fight him without showing too much. You should learn when to hold back, Naruto, said Uchiha. Don't get her wrong, she was glad that Naruto won, but the screams that came from that boy, it was off-putting and terrifying. Even now, people in the stands were still shaking at that memory. The next fight was about to start. It was between Izumo of Konoha and the member of Take. The dark atmosphere that Naruto left was now gone. The cheery atmosphere came back as they fought. The fight went on for some more minutes before Izumo was too exhausted and was unable to continue. The genin from Take was declared the winner. The next match was Uchiha versus Iniri of Kumo. As Naruto glanced over towards her. Good luck, he said. Don't forget, she said, looking towards him. I want to fight you in the finals, so be prepared. First, you have to win this fight. Now go away, Purple-chan, said Naruto, as he shushed her away. She just shook her head with a smile as Hana wished her luck, as she thanked her and made her way down there. Naruto had full confidence that Uchiha would win. As the examiner told him to begin, Uchiha stood where she was, battle ready, waiting for the opponent to make a move. Hana noticed there was a look on Naruto's face. Is there something wrong, she asked. I thought she would use her sword to finish this fight early, but she hasn't even taken it out yet. Who knows, maybe she doesn't want to show it in the early stages, Hana said with a shrug. Her opponent was the one to rush towards her, as she dodged all of their strikes. Her movement was so perfect it was like she was dancing on the field, weaving and ducking and sliding. As this went on for several minutes, she's trying to make her opponent thinking that he's the one, putting her on the defensive, tiring him out. As Naruto nodded in agreement and smirked, she always tried to think one step ahead of the enemy. She's saving her energy for her next match. Down below, her opponent, Iniri, was breathing heavily, as she decided to capitalize on that. She appeared in front of him with speed that she did not show before. He tried to block, but he had a hard time doing so, as he was hit viciously all over. At the end, he dropped down to the ground in pain, unable to move. Several bruises all over him. As the medics came and took him away, Uchiha was announced the winner, as she made her way back up. You did well, Naruto complimented her, as she simply grinned at him. The next match was between Hayate and another Kumo genin. The fight was interesting while it lasted. Hayate came out on top in the fight, his strength and speed far outpacing the opponent. The next match was Hana Inuzaka versus Katetsu. The match between them was equally balanced. Both of them matched each other strike for strike. The fight between them went on for some time until they were both exhausted and injured. However, because of Hana's advantage in taijutsu, she was able to corner Katetsu. The referee saw that Katetsu could not continue and ended the match in Hana's favor. But Naruto could see how badly Hana was injured. As she announced that she would withdraw, Naruto wasn't surprised. After a break, the Chunin exam finals round 2 came up, and it was Naruto versus the last member of Take there. Do your best, said Uchiha. Before Naruto could even respond, I want to withdraw. The guy spoke up. As Naruto glanced over towards him, he did not even look Naruto away. The proctor announced Naruto Uzumaki as the winner. As the crowd was disappointed, the guy did not want to fight Naruto. The next match was Uchiha versus Hayate. Well, I guess you got a free pass to the finals, huh? Said Uchiha. as Naruto chuckled and rubbed the back of his neck. I guess I should go and get my pass now, she said. I can't wait to kick your ass in the finals. Hey, I really do want to fight you, said Naruto. So you better not lose. As I said, I'll be the one to fight you in the finals. As she made her way down there, Naruto glanced towards Hayate, who was standing a bit distant away from him. For some reason the guy did not seem pleased with him. As Naruto nodded at him to greet him, but he left without a response. As far as Naruto could remember, he did not do anything to offend him. He came out of his thoughts as Hana, who was wrapped up in bandages, joined him. Oh, it's those two. This is definitely going to be interesting, Hana said. Did something happen between them? Naruto asked. I think he said something to Uchiha after the second exam which she did not like, and they got into an argument, Hana said. As Naruto raised an eyebrow in curiosity, as he wondered, what could Hayate have said to her? Look, they're about to start, Hana said, as Naruto was broken out of his trance. Down below, get ready to lose, Uchiha, Hayate said. Her own reaction was a slight frown, as she stood in her stance, calm and firm. She still had not forgiven him about what he said. His comment about her relationship with Naruto, and saying that Naruto had no emotions, and care for no one but himself. Hayate simply did not know him like she did. She was not stupid, she knew that Hayate liked her more than a friend, since their academy days, when they used to train together. She also knew it upset him when Naruto came along, and she started training with Naruto as well. But that did not mean something was going on between them. Like Hayate, Naruto was a good friend, and nothing more. Besides, Naruto was 3 years younger than her. If anything, that should make Hayate understand there was nothing between them more than friendship. And even if there was something going on, it did not give him the right to say what he had said. Just because he liked her didn't mean that she had to like him back. And after what he said, she wasn't even sure that she could call him a friend anymore. But if you want to give up their friendship, fine. She did not have time to worry about relationships this early in her life anyway. She was a kunoichi. She had to focus on her training and goals to make her family proud and become the strongest kunoichi possible. She had to prove that you don't need a Genkai or need to be from a clan to become strong. And this tournament was to showcase her strength against some of the best genins and show where she was compared to them in strength and skills. That is why she had to fight Naruto. He was a prodigy. There was no denying that. But she also wanted to make herself known to the world as well. People only saw her and Hana as teammates of the child prodigy, and that annoyed her. She wasn't jealous of him, but she wanted to stand with him as an equal, not second or third best. He was her rival, the one that could force her to break past her barriers, and she wanted to beat him. As she gripped her blade and held it in front of her face, she had to be smart here. Hayate was strong, and she could not make any clumsy mistakes. She had to make the first move and put him on the defensive. She vanished from where she was as she reappeared beside him, her sword making a sweeping arc right towards his head. His eyes widened for a brief second as he brought his weapon up and blocked her strike, as he was able to push her away, as she backflipped away before throwing a couple shurikens, as she shouted, "Ninja art! Shadow Shuriken Jutsu!" A barrage of shurikens suddenly rained down on Hayate as he jumped back to avoid them. The weapons thumped into the dirt as Uchiha spun to face him, her heart pounding. A second later, she charged forward, and their blades clashed together with tremendous force. It seems we're going to finally see who's the better Kinjutsu user between us, Hayate said, as he slashed at her. You can try all you want, Hayate, but in the end, I'll be the one walking away from this, winning. Bold words you have there. I wonder, are they arrogance or confidence, Hayate said, as he parried another strike from her. Believe what you want. It does not matter to me. As their blades clashed together all over. Meanwhile, with Naruto and Hana, she has to do something else. They look evenly matched in Kinjutsu, Hana commented as she stood with Naruto. True, but you know that she can do better than that. I don't know why, but she's holding back and not going all out. She hasn't even used any jutsu yet other than Shadow Shuriken Jutsu. He had fought her many times during training and knew that she wasn't a pushover, and that she could do many things with her blade. But ever since the fight had started, despite her being the first to charge, he could see that she was on the defensive. She was normally someone to use, any advantage that she had to finish the fight quickly as possible. What reason could she have to change her style now? Hana nodded. I hope she does not get overconfident. On the field, Hayate blocked another strike as he twisted his body sideways to drive an enhanced chakra kick right in her stomach. The blow sent her flying back as he did not stop his attack there. Jumping forward to cover the distance, he swung his blade down towards her. She rolled to the side. However, he flipped back and went through hand sign. Fire style. Fireball jutsu. Her eyes widened as she saw the fireball racing down towards her. Boom! It connected with the ground. Smoke covered the arena and blanketed in a haze. Hayate waited. The fire style wasn't serious enough to badly harm her, but he knew that she could not outrun it. But when the smoke cleared, she was nowhere to be seen. There was only a burned log left there on the ground. Shit. She used a substitution at the last second, he mumbled, as he looked around for her. As he felt something, he spun and tried to jump away with her blade slashed across his chest. It wasn't deep, but the cut was there. It wasn't that deep, but the blood still trickled down his vest. Still think of me as someone weak, huh? Said Uchiha, with a smirk on her face. You got stronger since the last time we fought, but I never thought of you as someone weak. But I'm still standing, Hayate said, and the fight is not over yet. It's just a matter of time, she said. Channeling chakra to her feet, she sprinted forward, swiping her blade with immense speed. Hayate jumped back as he could not keep up with her speed, but he knew that she could not keep this up for too long. The chakra drain would be too much for her. He needed to conserve his own energy. No one knew how much time they would get to rest after this match. And Naruto will come in first to the final fight, already putting his opponent at a disadvantage. Spark flew from their blades as they made contact, as he had to maneuver away from her unexpected speed. Cuts and bruises covered both of them, and he was sure that she was getting tired. On her next swing, he seized the advantage as he lunged forward. Their blades clashed, connecting as they tried to push each other back. Inches away from each other, he felt her breath on his face as they tried to gain dominance over the other. He tightened his grip as he used his superior strength to shove her back. The force bent her arm and forced her to drop her blade to the ground. As he fell with a hard kick to her abdomen, sent her sailing away. Almost instantly though, she pounded her feet, blurring through hand sign, water style, water missiles. Water streamed from her mouth as he barely dodged the attack before she lunged at him again. Pain exploded across his wrist as her feet slammed against his hand. As he lost his sword, he tried to deliver a roundhouse kick to her, but she ducked and brought a knee up to his stomach. She knocked the wind out of him as he staggered back. How did she get so fast? It doesn't seem possible, he thought, as he tried to kick her away, but she blocked with no effort at all. She then punched him in the stomach as he was sent sailing back. He crashed against the wall and slumped there. He tried to pull himself up, but he felt so weak he couldn't move. What did you do to me? He asked as he panted out. You finally noticed. As I said, it was only a matter of time. My blade was coated in poison. All I needed was that single cut, and the poison did the rest. His eyes widened in shock. Don't worry, it won't kill you, but your body will be useless for the next 2 to 3 hours. Damn you, he said, as he grunted out in pain. The only chance you had to defeat me was before the poison spread through your body. But even if you had, you'd have been useless in a fight against Naruto in the finals, she said, as the proctor jumped down. Winner, Uchiha Uzuki. She grinned as the place exploded into cheers. But guys, we end up so right here. If you want to see the next person do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in your social media platform. But I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace.